Good afternoon. Coach Corey here, MRDC RIPFEST. Coming to you live from my 3-meter here at Mooresville Natatorium. Going to talk to you real quickly about the 5 different things that divers can do in between dives to get better every day. Now, in competitions, divers should have pre-dive routines, pre-meet routines and pre-dive routines. And that is whatever they physically and mentally, the process that they go through prior to each dive and in between competitive dives. Some divers have to get out of their own headspace. Some divers have to get out of the environment mentally. Some divers have to watch the rest of the competition as they're very competitive. So I tend to have most of my divers not watch the competition, take themselves out and away from the competition, distract themselves, and then so many minutes prior to their performance, that's when they start their pre-dive routine. Now in practice, if we want to make that more consistent, something that's just ingrained, built in, that's part of your everyday routine, don't have to think about it, it becomes habit. We can practice routines in practice. So, first thing that you want to do is talk about the 5 different things to do in between your repetitions in practice. The first thing a diver should do when they resurface from the water after doing a skill or a drill or a dive, they should look and listen to the coach. That's the first key. Look and listen. A lot of athletes don't look at the coaches. A lot of athletes look at the coaches but don't listen. There are athletes out there that don't look and do listen. They will just swim with their ears outside of the water, and you can get their feedback like that. David Bedaya tended to be that way back when he was very young, 13, 14 years old when we were working with him. The second thing that we're going to do in between your dives is we're going to ask questions. What the dive coach should have done after you looked and listened, they're going to give you corrective feedback for that dive for the next attempt. So the diver's going to take that feedback, and if they have some questions, maybe they didn't hear them, then they're going to ask to repeat it. But maybe they didn't understand the concept or how they're going to apply it. They need to ask questions to the coach so they understand how to apply that for the next repetition. So we look and listen, we ask questions. A lot of divers don't ask those questions, so they end up doing the same thing wrong over and over again. A lot of divers just shake their head, be like, yeah, I hear you, and they don't really listen to you, so they do the same thing over and over again. The third thing that we want to do is we want to take the divers, they want to take themselves off to the side, and they want to visualize the fix. That is them going through the visual tape in their mind of them performing the dive, making that correction that the coach asked for. So we look and listen, we ask questions, we visualize the fix. The fourth thing that we do in between dives is we're going to model the fix. A lot of athletes don't know how to model correctly, so a lot of times we have to break those skills down, each one of the specific dives, so they understand how to model those correctly, but they want to model the fix. So they physically want to take their body through that piece that they're going to try to correct repetitively in between that repetition and the next repetition of the skill. So those are the 4 things. Look and listen, ask questions. After we ask questions, then we're going to go visualize the fix, then we're physically going to model the fix, then the last thing that we're going to do is get up on the board and we're only going to focus on the fix. Divers have a tendency to try the dive and to think about the entire process of the dive instead of just that one fix. And what we want them to be able to do is make that fix. If they can feel the fix, then they can fix it on their own. So, and that is the key part, is getting the athletes to actually feel what's wrong. And if we can break it down and only focus on the fix, then they get a chance to feel that, and then we get to put the other aspects back in order and in place. So sometimes when a diver does make the right correction, they can still crash on the dive, specifically if they overcorrect or if their previous actions added to the correct come out or whatever that fix was, could be catastrophic to the dive either way. So the divers will get a much better chance and have a higher opportunity of performing pre-dive routines and everything if they can have their own routines and habits in practice that they practice in between every dive. And if they can do those 5 things in between their dives, they will get better every day. Thank you for joining us. These are more diving tips for your performing diver training for competition. MRDC Coach Corey here, signing out.